Hi, Ben Burkhardt here with Clear Call Ministries, and I'd like to share with you a few moments in the Word. I have one question for you. Infamy or honor? How would you like your name to go down in the books of history? We're looking at the story of Nehemiah, a man who was called of God to help rebuild the wall in Jerusalem after it had been destroyed by the Babylonians. This is about 70 years later, actually just a little bit more than that, and Nehemiah had come from the Persian Empire, sent by Artaxerxes, the king of Persia. And he had a burden on his heart to restore and to rebuild the wall in Jerusalem. He saw that it had been broken down and it wasn't progressing. It wasn't being built up, and his heart was grieved. He saw there was a great mission, a great work to accomplish, and he had this special burden on his heart. So God sent him with the blessing of the king of Persia to go and lead out a great work to restore and to rebuild this broken down wall in Jerusalem. So Nehemiah traveled to the land of Jerusalem, to this holy city of God. And as Nehemiah came to the city, he took some time, about 3 days or so, to survey the wall and survey the situation and notice what was going on. And he presented himself to the leaders of the people and encouraged them to take up the work of rebuilding this wall, which was lying desolate, the wall of Jerusalem. Now let's take a quick look at what happened. In Nehemiah chapter 2, we find that he comes and encourages the leaders. This is verse 17 of Nehemiah 2. Then said I unto them, Ye see the distress that we are in, how Jerusalem lies waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come, let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more a reproach. You can see that he clearly had a burden on his heart for the work of God, for the wall that was broken down. God's people were simply a reproach. Everything was messed up, everything was broken, and it was not being fixed. So Nehemiah encouraged his brethren. He inspired them. He called upon them to take action. And in verse 18 it says, Then I told them of the hand of my God, which was good upon me, and also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. And they said, Let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work. You see, he encouraged his brethren to take action, to build up this wall. What a wonderful example Nehemiah was making. And now we find that in chapter 3, a number of people are listed for rising up and working on the wall. First of all, the chief priest rose up and began working on the wall, and the other priests followed him. And then the Bible tells us about a number of other groups and families within Israel who joined this special work. But notice there are two groups that are especially mentioned here in Nehemiah chapter 3. One group whose name went down in infamy, another whose name went down in honor. Notice verse 5 of Nehemiah 3. And next unto them the Tekoites repaired, but their nobles put not their necks to the work of their Lord. And so we see that this group rose up, but their nobles did not put their necks into the work of God. They did not put their heart into the work of God. They did not really take it very seriously. It was kind of like, well, you guys can work on this, and we're not really too interested. We don't really want to help out with this work of rebuilding the wall. So that's one group, and you can see that the record of their choice, lazy as it was or unconcerned as it was, went down in infamy. That all throughout history, their name is listed here as people who did not put their necks to the work, people who didn't really care about the work of God. They were not doing it. And now, if we compare this with Nehemiah 3 and verse 20, we find another group, but their name is in honor. Notice this. After him, Baruch, the son of Zabbai, earnestly repaired the other piece, and the turning of the wall, from the turning of the wall into the door of the house of Eliashib the high priest. So here we have somebody, his name is Baruch, And the Bible tells us that he earnestly repaired these parts of the wall that were assigned to him. He earnestly prepared them. He really dug in and did the work with all of his heart. In such earnestness, he was doing the work. Now we have to look at these two persons, Baruch, and then this group of nobles within the Tekoites, all right? We have to look at these two people and look at the contrast between their approach to the work of God. There's the group who did not even put their necks to the work, and there's this man Baruch who earnestly endeavored to finish the wall, especially his portion of the work. You know, everybody had to work together. Everybody had to take a part of the work, a piece of the wall, and work on it. And this is true of God's work today. God's work is throughout the world. The gospel of Jesus Christ must go to the ends of the earth. And we have to ask ourselves, in this great task, are we encouraged to work? Are we taking heart and putting our hearts into the work? Are we working earnestly for God like Baruch was doing? Or are we working like those who did not put their necks to the work, who didn't really care very much about what was happening with the wall around God's city? We need to be those people who earnestly care for the work of God, who earnestly strive to share the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ, with the ends of the earth. We need to be those who are sincere and earnest in the work of God, like Baruch is in this story. So my appeal from this thought is that we would be like Baruch, that we would follow God's way and glorify and honor Him, putting our full heart and soul into the work of God, that no matter what we are doing in this world, we are fully sold on the mission of Jesus Christ and His message, sharing that message to the ends of the earth and doing especially the part of the work which has been given to us. We may not be a preacher. We may not be a special teacher of some sort. However, we have a work to do to share the good news of Jesus. Let's put our hearts into the work. Sound good? Well, may God bless you, and I will look forward to seeing you in our next devotional thought. Until then, take care, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this short video, and I hope that we can share some more like it to encourage one another in the work of God. So God bless you, and take care.